So if 100 people, right, have a race tomorrow, they're gonna be racing, right? Every single one of them is gonna wake up believing or having that hope that I'm gonna be number one in this race out of 100 people, right? They're gonna have that faith in themselves. But at the end of the day, in that race, there's only gonna be one number one. Even though every single one of those people had the goal of winning, of coming out in first place, at the end of the day, there's only one person who comes out in first place. So it's not the person who has the best goals who wins, because you all have the same goal. It's not the person who has the best goals in place, it's the person who has the best systems in preparation. I think Mr. James Clear, author of the book Atomic Habits, said it best in the book that you don't rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. So this simply means that in your class, every single one of you guys, every single person has the goal of becoming the top academic achiever. Every single person has the goal of passing. No one wants to fail, but it's those people. Some people pass, some people don't. Even though you all have the same goal, why is it that some people still don't make it even though they had the same goal? So what's important here is the systems that you put in place in order to achieve that goal. So this is what separates the average learners from the top academic achievers, in a sense that we both have the same goal of getting a distinction in maths, but they get it and I don't. That is simply because of the systems that you have in place in order to achieve that goal, or in simpler terms, the way in which you practice your maths in order to get to that goal. So if you see that it's not working for you, then it means that it's time for you to change your systems, adjust your systems to best fit your goals so that you can actually achieve those goals. The problem is not you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not dumb, you're not a slow learner, there's nothing wrong with you, but the main problem is the system that you have in place in order to try and achieve your goals is what is holding you back. So you have been practicing your maths, your physics, whatever subject you're doing, you've been practicing it the same way for the past 5 years, and you're still getting almost, you're actually at a point whereby you can predict your marks. I'm gonna get a 60 whatever, even though in my mind I have a goal of getting an 80. So what matters here, what we're trying to focus on, is the system that you have in place in order to achieve that goal. You need to change the way you approach your practice. You need to change the way you think about the subject. You need to change the people around you. You need to change everything that affects your goal. You need to change everything that can have some sort of impact on your goal. You need to adjust your timetable. You need to adjust your study routine. You need to change almost everything in order for that goal to be sufficient. You need to seek help. There are a lot of people out there who don't like seeking help. I wouldn't say I'm someone who likes seeking help. It's important to seek help. Sometimes you just feel like I'll be fine, I'll be okay. But sometimes it's okay not to be okay. You need to, even if it's your peers, you just ask, is peers the way you pronounce it? Peers. Seek out your peers, say, are you struggling with this? Say something like, I'm struggling with trig. Let's have like a 1-hour session whereby we practice these things together. So if this method is not working for you, you don't even need to think whether it's working for you or not. Because if you have been using the same method for the past 2 to 3 years and you're still stuck on the same spot, we can't even say there's a chance for you to improve. You need to adjust. There's a small something that you need to adjust before you can actually try and fuel and move on to the next step. So in essence, all I'm trying to say is that if you ever feel like there's something wrong with you, you just feel like maths is not your thing, you just can't pass the subject, that's not true. It's not you that's the problem. The problem is the system that you have in place in order for you to try and pass that subject. You first need to adjust whatever you have in place. You first need to look at the different factors. What do I do when I sit down to practice this subject? What happens when I sit down?